Vasistha continued, in order to cross this formidable ocean of samsara, repetitive history, one should resort to that which is eternal and unchanging. So we have an option here. We can resort to that which is eternal and unchanging. This is obviously referring to Brahman, and it's something deep within our being. There'll be a lot more to say about that later on. So you can resort to that which is eternal and unchanging. I think for the time being I would call this awareness. Awareness, when you have awareness of everything that is changing, when you've got awareness of your psychological tendencies, well, that awareness has this quality of Brahman about it. It's not some kind of external cosmic entity out there in deepest space, fluctuating in and out with the quantum foam. It is something so intrinsically central to our being that we've got a highly intimate connection with it. So one should resort to that which is eternal and unchanging. I suppose I should mention that some people would say there's no such thing as anything eternal and unchanging. Well, again, we're stuck in the realm of words here, and let's just leave it as a possibility for the time being. He alone is the best among men, O Rama, whose mind rests in the eternal, and is therefore fully controlled, fully self-controlled and at peace. He sees that pleasure and pain chase and cancel each other, and in that wisdom there is self-control and peace. He who does not see this sleeps in a burning house. So this is self-control Vasistha's talking about. This is the first gatekeeper to liberation. He who gains the wisdom of the eternal here is freed from samsara, and he is not born again in ignorance. One may doubt that such unchanging truth may not exist. If it does not, one comes to no harm by inquiring into the nature of life. Seeking the eternal will soften the pain caused by the changes in life. But if it exists, then by knowing it one is freed. So there we go. We don't need to get hung up on whether there is any such thing as the eternal and unchanging. Pursuing it or looking into it is actually beneficial in itself, even if you never get any sense of it. The eternal is not attained by rites and rituals, by pilgrimages, nor by wealth. And we could also argue it's not attained by any kind of technique. It is to be attained only by the conquest of one's mind, by the cultivation of wisdom. And we should just say here, the mind cannot conquer itself. We might think in a certain mood, yes, I need to control my mind, but this is just one part of the mind talking. And then at another time, the part that wanted to be controlled, the part that wanted to do the controlling, goes quiet, and the part that you thought you needed to be controlled takes over again. So the mind cannot control itself. This is where awareness comes in. This is where this quantum leap comes in, this change of perspective from being caught up in all the activities of the mind and all our feelings, and being able to observe that, having some awareness of that. So we're talking about conquest of the mind. It's a little bit belligerent, that metaphor. I would suggest stepping aside from the mind into pure awareness. And that's wisdom. Hence everyone, gods, demons, demigods or men, should constantly seek, whether one is walking, falling or sitting, walking, falling or sitting. I suspect maybe instead of falling it should be lying down. This is referring to 3 physical postures. You can either be walking, again, or running, walking or sitting. You're not usually falling unless you're moving between standing and sitting. So I think whatever your physical posture, walking, lying down or sitting. The conquest of the mind and self-control, which are the fruits of wisdom. Let's just read that again. Hence everyone, gods, demons, demigods or men, should constantly seek, whether one is walking, falling or sitting, the conquest of the mind and self-control, which are the fruits of wisdom. Even if you haven't got this passion, this kind of mindful exercise whereby you're at least observing the mind, watching its vagaries, is a useful practice. When the mind is at peace, pure, tranquil, free from delusion or hallucination, untangled and free from cravings, it does not long for anything, nor does it reject anything. This is self-control or conquest of mind, one of the 4 gatekeepers to liberation which I mentioned earlier. Yes, I wonder. I mean, I think we have to assume, well, I'm going to assume that Vasistha here is talking about something very real. I don't think the mind can be at peace. I don't think it can be tranquil without ceasing to exist. We can rest in awareness. Awareness can rest in itself, and the mind can continue its chatter, just as all the sensory world continues its stuff of noise and all the rest of it. But awareness can be resting in itself. That awareness, I think, is separate from the mind, and that is what is peace. That is what is pure tranquility. That is what is free from delusion or hallucination, and that is what is untangled and free from cravings. And I wouldn't call that the mind, I would call that awareness. All that is good and auspicious flows from self-control. All evil is dispelled by self-control. No gain, no pleasure in this world or in heaven is comparable to the delight of self-control. The delight one experiences in the presence of the self-controlled is incomparable. Everyone spontaneously trusts him. None, not even demons and goblins, hates him.